Halo Combat Evolved, one of the most iconic games of all time, that sparked the epic journey of Master Chief and Cortana, that led to some of the most influential game mechanics ever, and led me to make a review almost 2 decades later. Maybe wondering, how come you're making a review about the original Halo game even though there are millions of reviews already? It's because I've always wanted to express my thoughts and likings to this game. Halo is the game that got me hooked with video games. Ever since my dad sat me down, turned on the original Xbox, and put a controller in my hand, I haven't been able to put it down since. I've been playing Halo since I was 5, and figured that I have enough experience and time to make a review. So get your MA5B loaded, your plasma pistol charged, and...
Brace for impact!
This review, I'm going to separate each part of Halo Combat Evolved by parts, and for the first part comes the campaign. For anyone who doesn't know what Halo is, where have you been for the last 2 decades? Regardless, I'm going to summarize the campaign in just a few minutes. Master Chief is waking up from cryo after an attack from the Covenant. Captain Keyes tells Chief to take Cortana off the Pillar of Autumn and kill all aliens standing in his way. Master Chief leaves the ship with Cortana and lands on Halo. Cortana and Chief survive and regroup with the UNSC. Chief and Cortana are sent to a Covenant ship to save Captain Keyes. They are then sent to Halo's control room. Chief leaves Cortana in the control room to save Keyes again. Chief is then sent to a former facility where he meets the Flood. Chief is then teleported to the library with 343 Guilty Spark. 343 Guilty Spark makes Chief get the index for him. 343 teleports Chief back to the control room, and Cortana warns Chief that the ring is a weapon and it can wipe out all sentient life. 343 is upset and leaves. Cortana and Chief arrive at the Pillar of Autumn to kill off the Flood and stop Halo's detonation. But 343 attacks them and slows them down. Chief blows up the Pillar of Autumn and narrowly escapes death. With the summary out of the way, let's talk about why the campaign is amazing. First thing I must say is the map design. All the levels are semi-open world and it's great. Not a single Halo game after this has big semi-open levels like this, besides Halo 3. Even then, they can't capture the original epicness of running around and going almost wherever you want. The story itself is also amazing. It's simple and easy to follow. It still has lots of plot holes with the Forerunners and basically all the factions, but that is what makes it great. It has a nice mystery tone to it. The gunplay is also really good. It's always so satisfying to mow down your enemies. It's also nice that every weapon plays differently, like how the pistol is a semi-auto long-range weapon with high power, or how the MA5B works as a machine gun. Each gun feels unique and all work together really well. All the enemies felt balanced and worked well, but I felt like the pistol was a bit overpowered to the hunters. They could just die in one shot. Regardless, all the enemies felt balanced. For example, the grunts were simple infantry who weren't hurt at all. The Jackalers are the support units that hold a line if need be. The leads are the advantage in the group that can match your level of fighting. The hunters are big shielded aliens that act as mini-bosses. The Flood infection form is small and weak and tries to infect you, while the infection carrier are a big bloated Flood that, when killed, will explode and send out a bunch of infection forms. Finally, the Flood combat form can use guns, move fast, and will try to hit you. There's also the Sentinels, which can fly around and shoot lasers at you. There are also vehicles that come in with the sandbox. There's the Warthog, an all-terrain vehicle used by the UNSC. The Ghost, a small one-seater Covenant vehicle. The Scorpion is a huge tank used by the UNSC. The Banshee is a vehicle used by the Covenant to fly around. There are also the Pelican, Sword, Alien Dropship, and Wraith, which cannot be used. Next up is the multiplayer. The multiplayer is very fun and works well. It has your standard game modes that you expect from a shooter, but has a recent capture the flag game mode. All the maps are really big and really cool except for a few exceptions. For example, Blood Gulch is a simple map that has 2 bases and a canyon. However, there are several paths and methods you could take to get around. There was the path that was in the canyon and head straight for the other base, or go on the side passages and be able to get a sneak attack. You can even go in guns blazing with the Warthog if you want to. Every map was like this and made for a fun way to play every time. Every vehicle in the game is in multiplayer, except for ones that you can't use. And each map had its own vehicles depending on its size. Overall, I have only a few complaints with the game. First, the pistol is overpowered. It can shred through enemies in campaign, but all multiplayer is destroyed. Dying at 3 shots is just like a lot. You can win a fight up close with the pistol even if the other person had MA5B. Second, the vehicle hit damage is really high. Being slightly nudged would instantly kill you, which is also really annoying. Final complaint is the inability to use the energy swords used by elites. Otherwise, that's all I have to complain about. Make Halo Combat Evolved is one of the best Halo games ever, and it kickstarted the series that we love today. The awesome campaign, gunplay, story, multiplayer, vehicles, and enemies make for a great first-person shooter. But before I end my review, here's some content from the game. There were engineers at one point during the game, but were scrapped and later reused. Next, there was going to be a sniper for the Covenant, but was scrapped for unknown reasons. Finally, Halo Combat Evolved was at one point supposed to have wildlife, but were also scrapped due to bug issues. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment if you want a Halo 2 review.